Stacey Abrams made a comment about how if black men vote, she wins. I wanted to talk to some black men and we just chat a little bit about what that means to us.
First thing to stand out to me about Stacey Abrams is the whole abortion thing. You claim to be so much for black people, right?
Yeah.
But then when you look into the history of abortion, and it was started to eliminate us.
I think it's very profitable to go around telling black people, this is racist, this is racist, this is racist, because I'm trying to figure out how this lady went from being negative 500,000 to being a multimillionaire by telling people that look like me, we not smart enough to go get ID to vote.
We look at someone like Governor Kemp, who's polling better with black men than Republicans usually do.
There's another thing he did. He reached out to King Randall. He has a school down in Albany.
Yep.
You know, with the young boys.
Yep.
That showed a lot of people a lot about Kemp. You know what I mean? I mean, it's something simple as that. Just go talk to black people. Like, talk to us.
I have these conversations quite a bit with black men. The things they say to me are the Republican Party is racist. And I think that the media has taken messaging and manipulated it so much so that anything that comes out of the right automatically has a racist label on it.
Black leadership has sold us out. And they made it even taboo for black people to even think about listening to what conservatives have to say.
Absolutely.
It's almost like, oh, you a sellout.
Or Uncle Tom's and, you know. Bootlicker, yeah, right.
Because I was told conservatives, Republicans were racist. The first time I actually was around a room full of Republicans, I got shown so much love I didn't know what to do with it.
Same. My first event around Republicans was at the Georgia State Convention. And I was kind of scared going into it, to be honest with you. Because I'm thinking, you know, oh, they're racist. You know, how are they going to treat me? The most loving and open people that you would meet.
So what else is a lie? You know what I mean? And that'll start getting your wheels turned.
Typically, the Republican mindset, like you said, is freedom. It is self-sustainability. And I don't think we've done a good job of explaining that this is going to benefit you. No, you black man. These conservative Republican principles will benefit you, black man. I don't think we've done that well.
Not only have conservatives not done a good job of reaching out to the minority community, the Democrats have mastered messaging. And although the conservatives have a better message, it kind of gets lost because that message has no diversity in it. Like, one of the things that gets me is it's not about race. Since when? It's been about race for so long. Just a generation ago, my mom couldn't even go to school with certain people. But now that minorities have their civil rights, they say it's not about race anymore, and that's kind of weird to me.
Most of that period you're talking about, one generation prior to us, two generations prior to us, I mean, these were Democratic policies. I mean, the KKK was Democrat, right?
True.
All right, Jim Crow was a Democratic policy. Yep. A lot of these oppressive or suppressive policies, they came from the Democratic side. So why are we leaning towards them for solutions in our individual lives?
You know, several people, you know, that I associate with or in my friend groups, you know, they're black men who have families, who have kids that are just trying to do the best thing for their families. They're trying to really take control of their lives and step into that leadership provider role that a male should step into. They're starting to call BS on certain Democratic policies. And they're starting to say, hey, actually what these guys are saying on the right aligns a little bit closer to what I believe in. And this is actually going to help me better raise my kids and better take care of my family.
I'm new to the conservative movement, but whenever I would be around liberal leadership, and I would be like, so when are we going to address the crime in our community? Oh, those are white supremacist talking points. Right. I'm like, damn, how come every time I bring up something that's going to help the black community, y'all got to say it's white supremacist talking points.
Or conservative talking points.
Right. So it's like it gets old after a while.
Racism is real. We know that.
Yeah.
But has racism kept any of us from doing what we wanted to do? I mean, the answer is no. Like, I know that I've experienced it in the past, but it wasn't in a situation or to the degree that it kept me from fulfilling my own desires. So to me, using Thomas Sowell, it's on life support. Yeah. It's past time for us to wake up and look at this thing for what it really is. We're smart enough to do our own research. We're smart enough to figure out where our kids should be going to school. We're smart enough to figure out how to get the job to cover our costs. We're smart enough to do all that stuff.
That's why I said I blame our leadership.
Yeah.
Like Keisha Bottoms, you were smart enough to go to FAMU and become a lawyer, but you want to tell my son he's oppressed. Even though we do have our issues in this country, if you put your mind to it, you can do whatever you want to do. Yeah. And the only person that's going to stop you is yourself. Yeah. And I want to hear a black leader get up on TV and say that to the black community, but they're scared to say it.
I read Wealth, Poverty, and Politics by Thomas Sowell.
Thomas Sowell, yeah.
Thomas Sowell, black economist, love him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And he calls those people that you're talking about, gatekeepers or poverty pimps. These are people that profit off of narratives that keep us in a mindset where, the white man is against us, we're impoverished, and we can't get up, we can't do this for ourselves. And all that does is hurt the community while helping the black leaders, quote unquote, who are profiting off of this messaging. They can't really continue to do what they do effectively if racism is no longer a thing.
America is a country for you. Like, you helped build America too, black man. Like, this is your country too. Like, don't fall into the lie that it's them against me or them against us. No, it's us, period. Yeah. Like, we are Americans just like anybody else is. And if we don't have that education, if we don't have the confidence in ourselves, we fall into those traps that the Democrats set.
I came to a scary conclusion about a year and a half ago. That conclusion was, I honestly think Democrats want to unravel the United States. I'm serious. I think they want to attack the Constitution, and they really want to start over. And that's why all their policies are to weaken us as a country.
The only party that cares about education is the Republican Party, the Conservative Party, because they're the ones that pushes school choice and other creative ideas around educating our young people. We believe in technical schools as well as colleges. We believe in going out and working.
Right.
We believe in making sure that we put in place citizens that can stand on their own 2 feet.
Right.
I sound a little bit like Frederick Douglass because he talked about how what can the white community do to the black community back in the day. He says nothing. Don't do anything to us. No. Stay away and let us stand on our own 2 feet. Well, they say that the country wasn't founded to help black people.
Critical race theory.
If the founding fathers didn't want black people to have a leg to stand on, they would have said all white men are created equal. Seriously. Like it was nobody to stop them from saying that.
Right.
True.
So if they really just wanted the country to be for white people, all they had to do was put one little adjective in front of men. All white men. And then nobody black ever would have had any leg to stand on.
And going back to Frederick Douglass, he said the greatest anti-slavery document was the Constitution.
Yes.
Yeah.
That document, it gives us a solution to every problem a society might face. So what upsets me is the Democrats are trying to destroy the very document that even gave you a voice in government.
Right.
And sometimes I sit back and I ask myself, do they know this? Are they being played, or are they in on it?
Not many people read his book. I read Raphael Warnock's book, and it was disturbing to me because the book talks about utilizing the black church. We can have a whole conversation about the black church, but utilizing the black church to make social change and governmental change and pushing those agendas through the black church into government. But my issue is that those agendas aren't the agendas that's sustainable or create strong families. They're not Godhead. They're not man-led. They're something else.
I got a big opinion on that, so I'll try to keep it real short, though. But so I think it started with God first, because that's like, if you look at slavery, for example, that's one of the things they did. Like, they didn't want us to read. So, of course, you can't read the Bible and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then what did they do to the black men? You know what I mean? So they I ain't gonna go too deep into that, but they did the black man dirty. Yeah. But that's the same thing they're doing these days. They took God out of schools. They try to take God out of everything. They try to remove our faith. You know what I mean? Because once they can remove the faith, then they can just demoralize everything. Then immediately they go after the men. When you go after the men, then you mess up the whole the structure of things, the whole structure of society. You know what I mean? And now you look at everything. Y'all can tell me if I'm tripping or not. But
No, it sounds like Marxism to me.
it is Marxism.
Right.
But now when you look at everything that's going on in the world, right? Like look at the whole agenda. Like I'll go from Black Lives Matter. Like when they first came out on their page, they said they wanted to destroy the nuclear family.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to say nothing about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They let them slide. They said they were Marxists. Nobody says nothing about it.
We have a terrible economy, right? I mean, people are struggling to make ends meet. We have the whole vaccine situation, the jab, so to speak. And that is a winning talking point for the conservative side with the black community. This is the prime time for the Republican Party to appeal and bring in black men. And I say black men because I believe Stacey Abrams puts a divide between men and women in the black community.
They already did their case study on the black family. Now they coming for all American families.
That's true.
Seriously.
Because they
coming for all of us.
We're the strongest nation in the world, and they know that. They know they can't destroy us. They can't beat us. They can't beat our army.
Inside
they
out.
can't destroy us from the outside, so they got to destroy us from within.
inside. Yep.
And that's what they're doing.
I think the black community need to see more black men like you. Seriously.
True.
I'm being honest. Like
I
I think they need to see more black men like you. Like you're a veteran. You love the country. You came home. You worked hard, and you established a good life for yourself. But you're the Democrats' worst nightmare. Seriously. So I think more black men need to have the guts to go against the grain and do what you're doing.
At the end of the day, the whole point is for us to be better humans, better citizens, better family men. And I want to make sure that we leave on something that's encouraging. And what I'm encouraged about is meetings like this, where we can sit down and we can talk about political issues and not be afraid to say that we're conservative, not be afraid to say that the Democratic Party has fallen short, not be afraid to say, black men, stand up. We see you. So I encourage all men, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, sit down and let's have some conversations, some real hearty conversations. I think men need to stand up, lead our families, make those hard decisions, go against the grain when we see things are being talked on the media that aren't right, call it out. I think that's how we save our country. That's how we save our communities. It doesn't matter where you start, it matters where you finish.
And with that being said, we all going to be kings, all of us at this table. And we're going to get out here and push that message into the community and get back to being where we're supposed to be, and that's kings. Kings for America.
I agree, that's right. It's time for us to be kings, all right? Let's be kings for America.